Hi folks, welcome back to The Addicted Bookworm, where my addiction's all over the internet. On this channel, I do library book hauls, book reviews, both digital and physical, audiobooks, and so much more. So this is my final video for tonight. I am going to say something. The week that we're about ready to leave has been a very productive reading week. In fact, my entire month, or a little bit over a month, has been very productive as far as reading is concerned. I am like, I'm very happy about that. I am very, very happy about that. So I have these books, and I have several ebooks to talk about. Now, some of them I have done reviews on, and I've uploaded videos about it. But I kind of want to also add that that I'm currently listening to an audiobook because the ebook version of the audiobook has a 21-week wait, and it would be much better to just buy the book than to wait 21 weeks. However, because I don't want to spend the money, and I saw the audiobook version was available to borrow, I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get that one. Alright, but I will tell you the title of that one after I do this review. Alright, I don't have the book with me right now because I did return it back to the library. It's called Valor by John Gwynne. This is the second book in the Faithful and Fallen series. That book was amazing. Now, there was places in this book that were very difficult to follow. But the spirit of the book and the fact that I didn't throw it across the room is a good sign that I enjoyed the book, or at least it was bearable. I did enjoy the book. I enjoyed watching these characters grow and have their battles and have their arguments and have their conversations. Once again, I will say that all the characters, I could not pronounce their names to save my life. I could not. But just how he writes these books, I just loved everything about it. His writing style is so wonderful. And I recommend anyone to read a John Gwynne book. It's a treat for us who likes high fantasy, and just the feel that an author knows what he's doing, and he is continuously over and over again just showing his craft, which is really great. Then I read my first feminist cozy mystery. I didn't know this was a thing, but it is a thing. It's called The Ex-Girlfriend Murder Club. Now, this was one of the books that came out, I think it was in June it came out, and it's about these three women who all dated the same guy, and finds out the man is married. And I'm pretty much guessing, without any kind of evidence, that his wife is not exactly affiliated with some really nice people. But he ends up dead. Not just dead, but bloated and smelly. Because he's going through decomposition. And these three are in the middle of it. And it's so weird because they make these mistakes along the way. And it's like, yeah. If I do buy it, I will get it as a Kindle edition because I made the decision that I'm no longer going to buy physical books. I will probably repeat that several times in my lifetime, but it's just better that way. The next one is the Manifestations of Sherlock Holmes by James. I think it's is it I think it's James Lovegrove. Yeah, James Lovegrove. Okay, so yeah, so I don't remember what number it is in that particular series, but this is another one of Sherlock Holmes cases that was never written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. So James is basically writing these new Sherlock Holmes stories. I am going to be I'm going to say this, but I did like the book. I did like the book. I'm not faulting James Lovegrove for anything. I think that he writes really good Holmes. But it's not as good as the Cthulhu Chronicles. I actually have my own copy of the first book in the series, and I will tell you that this one was not as good as the Highgate Horror. So yeah, it was good, but wasn't as good as the Highgate Horror. Then I read We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. Yeah, Richard Osman. So Richard Osman wrote this one, and this is, I don't know if it's its own thing. I'm guessing it's its own thing because the characters that are in this book are not in the main Thursday Murder Club. I did enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars, but it wasn't as good as the Thursday Murder Club. I liked the Thursday Murder Club a lot better. Things were just a little too, confusing. Not saying that the characters were badly written, but I just don't understand, about 98% of it. But if the characters were good, I just didn't understand about 98% of the book. And I gave it 2 stars on Goodreads. Alright. So, those are the digital books that I read during this week. So, that was a lot of book. That was a lot of book. But one of the huge reasons that I, especially with We Solve Murders, is that this was a book that 2 people wanted to read. So I had to make sure that I finished the book in plenty of time. And so, yeah. So out of all of them, I did like the Ex-Girlfriend Murder Club. That was actually... So here it is. Out of the 4 ebooks that I read, that I got from the library, only 2 of them I will say that I really truly enjoyed. And that was Valor by John Gwynne and the Ex-Girlfriend's Murder Club. So yes, I did highly enjoy those 2. The other 2... Alright, so let's start with the physical books. One of them is a library book, so that will be going to my bag. I also found out that my brother did listen to Diamonds Are Forever, so I will be adding that to the bag along with this one. Alright, so the first one is The Wrong Number 2 by R.L. Stine. This is a sequel to The Wrong Number that was many books ago. And the murderer from the first one, I cannot pronounce his last name, or it might be his first name, I don't know. He's the one who killed his wife. Well, he's out. He's out, and he has not forgotten the 3 little nosy teenagers that put him in prison. And here's something else I've noticed. The prison that this animal goes to is not too far from where these 3 live at. I'm like, R.L. Stine, did you intentionally want to give people terrors about living close to a prison? Just a thought. Just a thought. He gets out. He escapes. Can I please ask another question? How the hell is he in a minimum security prison? Or am I thinking about another book? I don't know. But he's out. He's out. And he wants to kill them. Anyways, despite the creepy factor of the prison not being too far from where they lived at, I enjoyed the book. I did. I knew I was going to enjoy it because I enjoyed it the first time around. And I read the Raw number 2 when I was about 19. So, yes, when I was a much younger lass. When I truly was a spring chicken. So, gave it 5 stars on Storygraph. Then the next one, this is a really thin one. So, before I show you this one, I had finished reading a book. Forgot which one it was. And I decided that I was going to read as much book as possible in a week. And this was the book that I chose. This is Roald Dahl Tortoise. It's actually, the words are backwards. And so it's about this guy. he's retired. He's retiree. We love those retirees. And he's in love with the woman underneath his balcony. They all have balconies. Well, she loves this tortoise. So what does he do? He messes with her mind. And he claims that this magic spell will make the tortoise bigger. But he's got lots of tortoises. I'm thinking, why do you have all those tortoises? Just a question. I saw how come this guy has too many tortoises? He has way too many tortoises. He has so many tortoises. And, yeah. He has so many tortoises. He doesn't take care of the tortoises. He just has too many of them. But he doesn't take care of them. Anyways, I thought this book was zany, kind of weird, because this guy is obsessed over this woman. And they end up getting married, which is a little bit creepy. But they're of age, and they're up there in age, and yeah, so if she finds out that she married a creepy guy, let's hope she divorces him. Just a thought. I gave this 5 stars on, well, actually, no, I gave this 4 stars on Storygraph because the guy was creepy. Alright. Then I finished off the Hunger Games trilogy with Mockingjay. This is a 5-star book. I'm going to show you something. So, because for me to do this, I gotta put my thinking eyes on. Okay. So, this is chapter 11. Okay? Now you'd be like, why do you make a big deal about it? This is actually supposed to be chapter 10. This is supposed to be chapter 11. Yeah. So this is despite the typo. I'm keeping, because it's probably, this is going to be a collector's item because of the typo. But anyways, so this is the ending of the Hunger Games trilogy. This is when you have this war going on and people are dying left, right, and center. And this is when we encounter President Coy. Now, if you watched the movies, you'll know how bad she is. And so you have, of course, the capture of President Snow and his death, which ends, of course, his arc, which we will be visiting in the first prequel to the Hunger Games. And Katniss find out exactly who ordered the death of her sister and all that type of stuff. I enjoyed this book a lot. This was one of the 2 books that I read because I had finished this one book and I kind of wanted to knock off. But this actually knocked a book off my TBR. So this is now fully read. I got this book around the same time that I got Sunrise of the Reaping and the other one. I do love the fact that Susan Collins does not stray away from what war does to people and how it affects them emotionally and psychologically and everything like that. And I know some people had, especially certain women, had an issue with Katniss having children. Oh, she already said she didn't want to have children. Why did she have kids? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, because it represents two different... And here's the thing is, the Katniss who has children is not the same Katniss before she was chosen, before she volunteered as a tribute. So it shows that you don't stay the same. You're changing. You always change. Like, I'm not the same person I was when I was 11. Or I'm not the same person I was when I was 18. But 45-year-old me is not the same as, I don't know, 15-year-old me. We change. We go through shit. It changes us. And what we do is always from that change. So I gave it 5 stars on Storygraph. It was a great book, and I really enjoyed it a lot. The mistake was funny as shit. I loved it. Alright, so this was the first, so I had checked out a total of 5 library books. Physical books, not talking about audiobooks, but 5 physical books. And this is actually the first one that I read, and this is Notorious Sorcerer by Davina Evans, and I actually did do a review of this book, so you know my thoughts on it. But it was nice to read a very well written fantasy book, and the fact that you have that structure that's going on. Okay, this one is the first book. So Wrong Number 2 is the second book in the pile. This is the first book. This is Joanne Flunk's Peach Cobbler Murder. Now, they adapted this into an episode for their mystery and thriller. It was a Hallmark Channel. I know some people have some issues now with Hallmark Channel with some of the things that they've decided to do, but this is based on this book. And what happens is there is a bakery that opens up that's direct competition to hers. Hannah Sweden. And so in the show, Hannah Sweden teaches the victim, before she ends up the victim, of how to make an authentically homemade peach cobbler, because she has all this equipment, including a giant mixing bowl, and she says what it is. This giant mixing bowl has never been used at all. Guess who gets it at the end of the whole thing? Hannah gets a giant mixing bowl. It's I think she said in the show it's like a $10,000 piece of equipment. Guess who gets it? Hannah gets it. But we also find out in this book that the peach cobbler lady, as I would like to call her, had a secret. And it is actually the business partner who killed her own husband, and then decided to kill the lady, her partner, because the show said why she killed her business partner. Anyways, I enjoyed it. It even though I had seen the show, I'd seen the episode, or seen the movie, I did enjoy this one a lot. I really enjoyed this a lot. Alright, so I give it 5 stars on Storygraph. Okay, so back to the beginning of the video where I talked about that there was a book, there was a book, hold on a second, let me get my, because the downside of this phone is everything's small. I cannot, I'm just doing a test here. Oh, okay, alright. Okay, so this is called Strange Pictures. So I'll just show you guys it. I cannot pronounce the name, but this is a Japanese, this is a mystery book that was originally written in Japanese and translated English. And I'm on chapter 2 of this book. This is an audio book. I could not get the ebook because the ebook, there was a 21-week wait for the ebook. So I decided to go ahead since the audiobook was available. And the huge reason that I did, in fact, want this phone was because I wanted to listen to audiobooks on this from Libby. So it starts off, so I'm just going to give you a little bit of a taste of what I've already read about this book. And this really is like, okay, I'm really invested in, like, what was the woman's secret? Okay, what was the dead woman's secret? And when I go and I'm listening to an audiobook and it grips me from the very beginning of it, I'm like, I'm invested in this book. I want to know what happens. What secret did this woman have? You know? So what happens is it all starts with this psychologist. And the psychologist is talking about this 9-year-old girl that murdered her mother. And the shock that these students are experiencing upon hearing this. And I'm actually thinking about doing there's like 5 chapters in this book, but it's over 4 hours of listening. And I really want to every day I'm going to do a video where I talk about this book and about how I felt listening to it. So it starts off, so we have the prologue with chapter 1. So the prologue basically starts off, as I said, with this psychologist who was brought in to evaluate the mental health of this 9-year-old girl that murdered her mother. And one of the things that I think it's a guy, does is he has the killer draw a picture. And during it, could draw everything really great, but when it came to the eyes or the mouth or something like that, had trouble. No, it was the mouth. It was the mouth, not the eyes. It was the mouth. Had trouble drawing the mouth. And it indicated to the psychologist. Now, this is a person who's been to college and works apparently for the police to figure out exactly if this killer is mentally there to actually be prosecuted. And found out that her mother was severely abusive to her. After I hear that, I was like, I'm glad the bitch is dead. I'm sorry, but you abuse a kid, you deserve what you get. And so, what basically happens is is during the course of this lecture that they're hearing about this 9-year-old that killed her mother, is that if she had to pretend to be happy so her mother would not get angry, if she didn't do it, she'd get beaten for it. And it was like, when I was listening to that, I was like, oh my God, you have a child, you carry a child for 9 months, and you go and you give birth to her, and then you turn around and beat the living shit out of her almost all the time. Yeah, you deserve everything that comes to you. You deserve everything that comes to you. So, soon after the lecture, after finding out that with treatment and rehabilitation, all stuff, now she's a mother, which is hopefully a better mother than her own. We kind of moved to this one guy. This is a Japanese translation of English, so the names I'm never going to be able to pronounce. And basically, he's told about this blog post, this blogs thing. And kind of a history of them, it used to be supposedly written by cats, which is weird. It's weird. But he talks about this guy, about how there's just something really off about this man's blog site. So basically it is about this guy who discovers that his wife is pregnant, and he's all excited and everything. And as time progresses on, his wife, who used to be a illustrator, and in Japanese culture that would probably be people that have done manga. Most of your illustrators in Japan do manga, so they do a thing called layering. That's how you get these complex animation, because they do layers. If you ever look at Disney, before they did computer stuff, they would kind of do this and kind of do that. They did it in layers. So she draws a total of 5 drawings. And what happens basically is that she says that, it's secret. Well, it's discovered that she has a breech baby. Now, breech babies, for people that don't know what a breech baby is when a baby is going to come out of the womb feet first, not head first. Now, in the book, it's definitely definitely stated that breech babies have to be delivered by cesarean because of how dangerous it can be for the mother. This is why I keep on telling my brother that giving birth to a baby is the most dangerous thing a woman could ever go through. So what happens is the woman dies. And for a while, you don't hear anything about the guy. Then the guy pops up, and he goes and he says that while I can't forgive you for what you have done, I will never stop loving you. And that was kind of weird. It was kind of bizarre. And even our character in the book is kind of what the heck is he even talking about? So he goes, and he is, he's trying to figure this out, and his friend shows him the secret. It turns out that it's a picture of the illustrator's death. It's creepy as shit. It is so fucking creepy. And yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Anyways, so So now the mystery begins. Like, what did, you know, it's obviously clear that she should have had the baby taken out prior to, prior to it. Um, but now they're like, they have to solve, like, he has to figure out the mystery. What did this woman do when she was alive that caused her death? So that's where I'm at in the book called Strange Pictures. This is actually the second book that was written. Um, so I'm going to I'm going to, like, listen to, like, so it says here, included as Spotify's best mystery and thriller of the year so far. Yukinescu, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, is a disruptor, the master of quiet horror. Alright, alright, so it says here, a pregnant woman sketches on a seemingly unconscious blog conceal a chilling warning. A child's picture of his home contains a dark secret message. A sketch made by a murder victim in his final moments lead to an amateur sleuth down a rabbit hole that will reveal a horrifying reality. Structured around those 9 childlike drawings, each holding a disturbing clue, the author invites readers to piece together the mystery behind each and the overarching backstory that connects them all. Strange Pictures is internationally best-selling debut by mystery horror YouTube sensation, I can't pronounce the name, an enigmatic masked figure who has become one of Japan's most talked about contemporary authors. And it says translated from the Japanese by Jim Rowan. Alright. Alright. So I'm 18% of the book completed. And yes, they did say how many minutes you have been reading the book. But anyways, despite the fact that most people consider audiobooks, well, sorry, not most, some people consider audiobooks not reading, I do. Especially when it's the only copy you can actually get. Anyways, I am so far enjoying it. And as I said, every day I will listen to it. I definitely Wednesday I'll be able to do it, but I don't know if I'm going to get the job. If I get the job and I have to work a mid or do mornings or something like that, I will try to sneak in it. So if I don't do a video based on this, then it's because I had to work. Alright, so I will see you around. Until next time, be well, be happy, and continue to read. Bye.